Hello, my dearest. Danielle here, and welcome to another episode of the Spa Marketing Made Easy podcast. Can you believe that Thanksgiving is just, a week and a half away? Is that right? It is. It will be here before we know it. And I know that so many of us are thinking about the holidays and also thinking about the craziness that is Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, what specials we're going to be offering, all of those things. It's also a time where we as business owners are thinking about taxes and getting our numbers in order for our accountants, right? The unsexy stuff, but the stuff that moves the needle. So that is exactly why I wanted to have Danielle Hayden join us on the show today. She's the co-owner of Kickstart Accounting. And in this interview, she's going to break down the how and why of financial reports so that we can use them strategically in our business. So let me go ahead and read her bio, and then we will jump right into that interview. So Danielle Hayden is a reformed corporate CFO, a chief financial officer, who's on a mission to help rule-breaking female entrepreneurs understand their numbers so they can gain the confidence needed to create sustainable profits. After spending 10 plus years in the boardroom as a corporate finance officer, Danielle is now in her sweet spot as the co-owner of Kickstart Accounting, where she helps business owners with bookkeeping, financial analysis, and education, and is the author of the Profit Planner book series. When Danielle isn't crunching numbers on her client's behalf or crafting the next iteration of the Profit Planner, you can find her hanging out with her two kids as she inspires them to lead their fullest lives or doing any and almost every fitness-related activity ranging from Spartan races to Pilates. She is an awesome woman. Really enjoyed the conversation with her. I think that you will too. So let's go ahead and play that interview. All right, Danielle, welcome to the Spa Marketing Made Easy podcast. I feel like I have a lot of Danielles in my life. I'm a Daniela.
Yes.
But it's like my longtime copywriter and partner in Post with Purpose. Her name's Danielle. There's just a lot of Danielles around me. And here you are.
Hey, we attract greatness to each other.
So you are a hairstylist turned accountant.
Yes.
You founded Kickstart Accounting and you're here. I really want to talk to you today about P&Ls.
My love language.
The most sexy part of business. I know I always say that we talk about on this show, and I talk a lot about systems, processes, funnels, all of these things that are so boring, but they're the things that really move the needle. And when you understand them, it's really what gives you the freedom and flexibility to do all the fun stuff.
Yeah, so it might feel mundane and overwhelming and boring and not the sexy stuff, but it's what really gives your business life and growth. And I would say your finances are the heart of your business, and you have to have a healthy heart.
Yeah, that's so true. And it's so interesting that the finances being the heart of the business. I mean, we become entrepreneurs. We go into business for ourselves because we want the freedom to set our own schedules. We want the flexibility, and we want uncapped earning potential, right? We want the freedom. We want the finances. But so often as entrepreneurs, we're like we pay ourselves last, right? I can't tell you how many of our spa owners are like, I just want to pay myself. And these are women who are bringing in several $100,000 a year in revenue, and they can afford to pay themselves great. But it's just really looking at how do we understand our cash flow? How do we understand our financial documents to be able to make the decisions to pay ourselves? So I guess before we totally get into that, can you just give a quick background of your training, like how you got into all of this, from hairstylist to accountant?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually went to cosmetology school in high school, and I absolutely loved it. So for a long time, I worked in the spa settings, and I was actually going to school because I wanted to own my own hair salon. And while I was in school, I started to take more and more accounting classes because I loved the numbers and the analytics. Like, what makes businesses tick? What makes this work? And even when I was working behind the chair, I loved the number side of it. I loved tracking when were my clients coming in, where were they coming from, how could I improve the way the salon that I was working for, the way that they did things. So the entrepreneurship bug hit me really early. I just didn't realize that that's what it was. I thought it was just all about the numbers and analytics. So finished up my degree in business, went for my master's degree in accounting and finance, sat for my CPA exam, worked in corporate accounting, helping larger companies that are in entrepreneurship grow and sell their business. And got a ton of amazing experience working with the management team and the investors and the board of directors. And I said, wow, I am putting them at such an unfair advantage from them to every other entrepreneur out there, right? Because they get all of this really amazing data that then they can go and make really amazing decisions and ultimately grow their business. So I said, I have to take all of this analysis, all of these dashboards and information that I've learned and budgeting and planning. I said, I need to bring that to entrepreneurship. And so that's our mission at Kickstart Accounting, is to help entrepreneurs understand their numbers so that they can not just pay themselves, but what I hear more often is, I could pay myself, but I want to confidently pay myself. I want to be confidently making more money.
I think that's a really important distinction. And, a lot of the spa owners that we work with, they have gotten to that multiple six-figure mark, but there still is, when you're hiring, when you're working with Facebook ads, when you're doing all these different things, it's like the money's there, but you want that confidence to really be there as well. So let's talk about the financial documents that every business owner should be looking at. We'll kind of look at those. You can give some key bits of advice, and then we'll talk a little bit about your planner.
Yeah, absolutely. So the heart of your business is to be able to look backwards, right? So we don't know where we're going until we know where we've been. So the first report that I want everyone to look at is your profit and loss statement. If you're not in an accounting software yet, and you're thinking, oh, well, how do I get the profit and loss statement? I'm really going to encourage every single business owner to make sure that you're in an accounting software. You're never too small. You're never too early to get into that software. From there, you can start loading in all of your data from your loans, your credit cards, your bank accounts, and that's really what builds your profit and loss statement. Now, we've talked a lot about how a lot of business owners will see, oh, that's awesome, I have top line revenue coming in. And you'll see a lot of that on social media. Hit XYZ gross revenue. But it's not just what's coming in the door. It's what you're profiting after you pay your direct labor.
Yes. I know. I'm like, if you have $1 million business, but you have 950,000 in expenses, you have a $50,000 business.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You need to make sure that you're paying your people right? That the retail that you're selling it at the right margins. You're managing your inventory right. You have the right software in place that's not, draining your company, right? That's helping you do things efficiently and effectively, however, not draining your business so that you're profitable.
Yeah. So actually, when we started our business, Atto Aesthetics, we started it in 2014, December of 2014. The first thing I did before I made one penny was hire an accountant.
Yeah.
And he's still with me today.
Good.
And that was the very first thing I did because I did not want to have any gray area. I did not want to do QuickBooks or Wave or any of the, like, whatever the softwares are, and like make a mistake that I could then get audited for. And I was just like, nope, it's worth every penny to pay a professional to have this be done.
Well, and I love hearing that you did it from day one. And if somebody's listening and you didn't do it at day one, no shame in your game, right? However, if you can do it at day one, I love when we see people like that, because you can really put the right processes in place, right? You can really start learning from your business from day one. And it's kind of nerd moment, but you can really see some cool data and charts and graphs on your growth and your spending trends when you have that information from the very beginning.
Yeah. Okay. So P&L, what other documents should we be looking at as business owners?
So there is the balance sheet and the cash flow statement that's going to come out of your accounting software. Super important. The balance sheet is going to tell you, now this is the less talked about of the statements. The balance sheet is going to show you the actual health of your business. So it's going to show you, what do you have in assets? So that includes your checking account, your savings, your inventory, anything like that. And then it's going to minus all of your liabilities. So that includes credit cards, vendors that you owe money to, your line of credit, maybe any loans. And then the bottom section is your equity. And what the equity is really cool to see is how much money you've taken in owner's draws and how much money you've invested in the business. And so you're really able to take a quick glimpse at how healthy your business is. You do not want to have more liabilities than you have assets. And if you do, you want to start paying down those liabilities to make it a healthier business. There is your cash flow statement. We hear from a lot of business owners, I'm showing a profit. I don't get it. My tax accountant keeps on telling me I have to pay all this money in taxes because I'm so profitable, but I have no cash in my bank. Like, where did the money go? Right. And so your cash flow statement's a really good way to tie the two financial reports together, because it shows your profit. And then let's say you invested in a bunch of inventory this year, right? You really built out the retail side of your business. And so it'll show you how much money you've spent in increasing your inventory. And then it'll also show you your changes in your debt and then your equity. So when you take an owner's draw, if you're structured as an LLC, you're actually not going to see your salary on the P&L. Your salary is as an owner's draw. Once you become an S Corp, you become a business expense of your own business. But that's why a lot of people say, oh my God, I'm profitable, but there's no cash in my account. Because if you are paying yourself, it's not showing up on that P&L report.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is something that I hear all the time from our spa owners. And it's like, okay, the money's coming in, but where is it going? Like how, so I think being the thing that I think is really, really important, and I'd love to hear your insight on this as a professional, but it's not just accounting, but really understanding your cash flow and where your money is coming from. That's why for spas, I love having memberships, because you have, especially if they have like a 3-month commitment, it's not this just, what are we going to do next month? Because so many businesses are like, oh, well, if we do 10% over last year, well, like we had a global pandemic this year,
Right.
And sometimes it's like, you can grow 50% over last year. And so you don't want to limit yourself, but it's also, if you're only looking backwards, it's really hard to plan for the future. So
Absolutely.
how do you have additional training, since you said you got your CPA, but you also studied finance? Isn't finance more about the future and accounting more about the past? Or
yeah, I think that's a good way to put that for people. It's I learned when I started Kickstart 6 years ago that all of the accounting terminology, everybody's understanding of each term is very different. So I try to simplify it as much as possible. We have to understand where we've been to see where we're going. But I want people to spend just as much time building out their budgets and their cash planning as they do as looking at the past. So one of the things that we do with our clients is we take the financial statements that from the previous year, and this could be any time of the year. So don't think, oh, I have to wait till January or I have to wait till November to do this process. You can start this at any time. Look at your last 12 to 18 months. And then I want you to budget for the next 12 months, right? What are your strategic initiatives? What are your goals for your business? And then start to build out your revenue streams. Maybe you're looking at starting that membership, right? What could that build to your business? What expenses do you have coming down for the next 12 months? Maybe you're looking at hiring. Maybe you're looking at beefing up your Facebook marketing, or you're planning on reinvesting in your business by getting professional development. So by taking some time, I call it a CEO time, to sit back and budget the next 12 months. Now, every month, when you look at your financial statements, when you look at your P&L, you can say, oh, what did I think I was going to do? And what did I actually do? So it's comparing it to actuals. And then cash planning, you could do on a shorter basis. So the budget's next 12 months. Cash planning, we call it the 13-week cash forecast. And it's a really fun exercise. You do it by week. So you look at historically what's coming in your business per week, so you can see your inflow of cash, and then planning by week what expenses you have. So plugging in those payroll dollars. Maybe you have a large subscription coming due. Maybe you have large inventory purchases coming up. So plugging those in over the next 13 weeks, and then looking, where do I have gaps, right? What weeks am I going to be under that? And what do I need to do differently to make sure that doesn't happen?
Now, one question that I get asked a lot is how to budget. And, I have some very high level, like your payroll shouldn't be more than 30%. Your net profit, you want to have a 20% profit if you ever want to sell your business. If you're not going to sell your business, or if you're in a growth, that gives you some wiggle room. But if you want to sell your business, you want to have a 20% profit. And then everything else is just kind of wiggle room, is what what is missing? What am I missing there?
So one thing that we like to plug in is advertising dollars. So yes. A lot of people come to us and say, when we build our budgets with our clients, we have a model that we use that we can say, all right, if I invest 5% of sales into my advertising and marketing, what does that look like? If I want to hire a consultant to help me deliver on my new strategies, where can I enter that in? So it's not just payroll, but we always start the conversation as, what's my strategy? So if I need to hire 2 people to deliver that new strategy, then we need to put that in, maybe it's marketing consultants, and then 5% in paid advertisements. So those are some other figures that I like to plug in. I think a lot of people say to themselves, I'm investing in advertising and marketing and whatever I have left over, rather than putting it at the forefront.
Yeah. Just kind of flying by the seat of their pants.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how you end up not paying yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. So the other one for payroll, it maybe be I call it officer salary, and then direct labor. So who do you have working for you that you're paying them, and then how much are you paying yourself? Separate those on your P&L and separate those on your budget, so that you could specifically see what you have to pay other people and versus what you're taking home. It really helps you keep that eye on getting yourself paid.
Okay, so let's talk about your planner a little bit, because you have, for those of you watching the video, you've got the profit planner, and thank you for sending this, by the way. And I was kind of flipping through it, and I like that it breaks it down week by week to talk about, in the very beginning, it's like, okay, this week you're going to review your business plan, and then determine your current strategy with questions. And it gives you identify your current tactics. So it's giving you these step-by-step actions to take each week. Identify your current team and key partners. Who are they and what do they do for you? So it's really breaking these things down into bite-sized pieces. And then as you get further in, where was I seeing here? Oh, bookkeeping basics. When we get into week 5, you've got all these different sections. Tell me how this planner came to be. And what was this, just like something that you kept seeing your clients needing, or how did this happen?
We were asked questions over and over again, not just by clients, but just being in the entrepreneur world and working with other small businesses. And I kept on hearing the same questions over and over again. And so we created our own strategic framework to help people answer those questions for themselves, right? Because it's different business by business. So we put together this framework and we launched it with our clients. And that was the brainchild of the planner. And there's 2 series. There's the foundations and then one that's called financials. And every week builds on the previous week. And then each planner builds on the next. So the foundations, you're building the foundations of a good, solid accounting, bookkeeping, strategic planning standpoint. And then the next book, you really launch into what KPIs do I need, right? What do I need to be tracking? And then we really consider it a workbook / diary. We have some people who call it a diary. It's just a way of having a workbook to actually complete each of those tasks. I'm a runner and I love to work out. And whenever I have a new goal, I always want to go full throttle into that. And I know for myself that could be really overwhelming. And I know that could be overwhelming for other people. So the whole goal was, I'm like, how can I take that approach of training for a program, training for a marathon, right, to entrepreneurship? And so that's how we built the planner, one step at a time, right? Build upon each other, taking the overwhelm out of this whole process and just doing one thing at a time.
I love that because, so many estheticians, especially when they're first starting out, one of the big goals is, how do I get to 100,000, right? That's this goal that seems so big and overwhelming for so many people. But when you break it down, it's $400 a day, right?
Yeah.
If you are working 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, if you do $400 a day, you will hit $100,000 in revenue. So if I ask somebody, the same person, if I say, could you do 100,000 a year? No, I couldn't. Could you do $400 a day? Yeah, I totally could. Right. So it's that, like,
framing it.
It's framing it, and it's really breaking it down, especially if your facial is $100 and you're selling them retail. I mean, it's like you do 3 facials a day and you're going to pass your goal,
Yeah.
So
I love that. And that's how that exercise you just did, that's how you set budgets, right? You think about where you want to be in revenue. And then how many clients do you need to serve? Now, how many do I need to serve per month? And break it down even further by week, by day. I love the way you did that, because budgeting, when you say that word, people shut down like, oh, that process is too big. I can't do that. But it's not. Just think about where you want to go and then what your average ticket price is. And you could really start getting down to a more feasible, a more digestible number for yourself.
Yes, I love that. Okay, so we've talked a lot about kind of higher level stuff and P&Ls and paying yourself and team and all of that kind of stuff. What about for estheticians who are just starting out? They're a solo esthetician. They're like, they have that 100,000 a year goal. What advice would you give them as far as managing their numbers and making sure that they're building a strong foundation for themselves?
Don't hesitate to step into your role as the CEO of your own business, right? And I think that goes for, it does not matter how small you are or where you're getting started. If you are renting a space or you're opening up your own facility, you are your own CEO. And so first is open up a business checking account. So register yourself as a business, get your tax ID number, open up a business checking account, start totally separating that from your personal account. You want to have a really clear difference between personal expenses and your business expenses. And then step into the accounting software. I know it feels overwhelming, but the earlier that you can do that, the sooner you could start making better business decisions, because it's not just about tax planning at the end of the year. It's about seeing what you did, right? And how you did it and what worked and what didn't work. So get yourself in that accounting software so that you can start reviewing those numbers. I think at a minimum, I'd like you to review those numbers on a quarterly basis, but ideally it would be monthly. And that way you can start to see, how close am I getting to that $100,000 goal? How close am I to getting myself paid? What do I need to change?
My Instagrammable quote is, if it can't be measured, it can't be managed, right?
Yes.
If you have no idea. And that was one thing that I was noticing last year. I was doing a lot of calls with estheticians or actually 2019, I was doing a lot of one-on-one calls, and it would be September, October, and I'd ask them about their numbers and they would have no idea. And I was like, excuse me? Like, how do you, how do you not know what you're doing? They're like, oh, I've got to get all this stuff together for my accountant because I don't know how much. I'm like, wow, look, think about how much money you're leaving on the table for, of money that you could be paying yourself and money. I think there's a lot, especially for women, there's a lot of kind of stories and heaviness around money. And I'm not good with numbers. I'm not worthy of making this much money. I don't want to be pushy or sale. There's all these beliefs, right?
Yeah.
But the more money you make, the more people you can help. The more money you make, the more time you can spend with your kids. The more money you make, there's so many different things. Money is simply a tool, and we've got to reframe it and get comfortable with it to be able to create the life that we want to live for ourselves. And that starts with looking at your P&L. It starts with seeing and tracking how much money you generate day by day, week by week, month by month.
Yeah. And you do not want to wait until tax season. We have so many people who come to us towards the end of the year. I had somebody last year that came to us and said, hey, Danielle, I need you to help me. I'm operating my business at a loss. I have no cash. Can you help me figure this out? Like, what do I do as I hit the end of this year and get into the tax season? We did her, we call it a catch-up accounting. So we bring all of her transactions in for the entire year, and we bring everything current. And I said to her, you not only are not operating at a loss, but you're operating at a profit. And now, because it's November, we only have 2 months to strategically plan. That means, maybe we do some investments back in your business and lower your tax liability or get yourself paid. But now we only have 2 months to make those decisions. So I tell that story because I want to encourage every entrepreneur to stop thinking about accounting as a way to report your taxes, and think about accounting and bookkeeping and financial management as a way to really manage your business rather than just filing your taxes, because it really will transform it.
Also, if she's operating in a profit, doesn't she have quarterlies that she has to pay?
Yeah,
she would have missed.
She missed it all. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And that can be scary, but
IRS does not like that.
They do not like that. But, we talked about it. A lot of women have a really hard time with that. And if that's the story you're telling yourself, you need to, don't be afraid to ask for help. We've tried really hard to create an environment where people can come and talk to us, where it's no judgment. It's not scary. You don't have to be organized or put together. So find somebody who you can ask for help, right? Because that's okay. Maybe you're not a numbers person and you don't know where to begin. Don't let that be a reason to not begin just because you don't know how.
Yeah, I think it's so important to have a good, solid relationship with your accountant and just let them know your goals. And, it's, so important. Good. Okay. So where can people find you, follow you, get in touch with you? And we'll include all the links under the show, but just go ahead and share where they can stay in contact with you.
Yeah. Our website is profitplannerbookkeeping.com. You can check out the planner there. If you're curious and want to jump on a strategy call, we can walk through what your current processes are and how you can improve those processes. So you can book a call with myself right from the website. And then you can come download our financial goal setting worksheet. Some of the things that we talked about today, like setting budgets and the cash planning, we give a lot of those tools in our financial goal setting worksheet. So come check that out. And that's a great starting place to start setting those goals and start getting that budget in place.
Wonderful. Well, if you want to keep the conversation going, be sure to head over to the Spa Marketing Made Easy Facebook group. Let's talk numbers. Let's talk accounting. Let's remove this heaviness or fear or stories that you're telling yourself around your numbers. No stupid questions. So be sure to head over there and let's talk. All right. I'll catch you guys on the next episode.